For several millennia, people have had the idea that if our bodies and our minds are just non-miraculous parts of the fabric of material causation in the world, then we don't have free will, in the sense that we're not able to make the decisions we want to make, and we can't be held responsible unless we have free will. A very powerful intuition and very understandable, and I think demonstrably wrong, whatever its distinguished lineage. It's as if people want a kind of moral levitation where they can float unaffected by gravity and make decisions. When you put it that way, people can see, no, I don't want that. Well, what do you want? They want their minds, they want their decisions to be their decisions. Well, yes, but who are they? What is the self? I once said, if you make yourself really small, you can externalize virtually everything. And that's what they're doing. They're thinking of themselves as sort of a tiny point somewhere in their brain. And they want that point to be exempt from the laws of causation that govern everything that goes on in their brain. Well, they're making a profound mistake. The self, a self which could be worth caring about, a self that could bear responsibility, has to be a rather large thing. It has to have many parts and memory and plans and moral education and feeling. In other words, don't make the self small, make it large. When you make the self large, recognize that who you are is not a little homunculus sitting in the Cartesian theater, but a live, embodied person. Then you can begin to recognize that you have, if you're normal and healthy, you have a very important sort of autonomy. Yes, your autonomy is not divorced from the causal fabric of the world. A good thing. If it were, you couldn't act. But it is distinguishable as a locus of decision-making, which is in large measure a creation of your own life. So you're as responsible for it as you are if you make a robot and send the robot out in the world and it does some harm. You're responsible. You made that robot. Well, you made your own mind to some degree too, once you're an adult. You had a lot of help. You didn't make it from nothing. You're not absolutely responsible, but you are wisely and justly held responsible because you're good enough to know better. I think that one of the foibles of philosophy, which other people who are not philosophers are also susceptible to, is a strategic principle which is just bad. When there's something you want to protect, you decide that the way to protect it is to make it absolute, and you inflate it, and you say, no gradualism here, either absolute, utter responsibility or no responsibility at all. The idea of sharing responsibility or being responsible for practical purposes strikes them as giving up the game. You've given away too much. So they hold out for the absolute, which they can never have without miracles, and then they wring their hands because they can't be absolutely responsible. And they can't be absolutely altruistic. They can't even be absolutely conscious. They can't absolutely understand something. Understanding comes in degrees too.